Hello, friends. It is the middle of April and it is snowing and raining here in Maine. But I figured the way to combat that today would be to make some sort of delicious dinner that I can then use the leftovers to roll over into tomorrow's dinner, which is what we call rollover dinners. So today we're doing a French onion burgers in the crock pot, and we're going to turn the leftovers into Salisbury steak for tomorrow night's dinner. So let's get into the kitchen and watch how RevBTB does it. So this is what I call a rollover dinner. I am doing some sort of meal prep, I guess. I'm taking today's dinner and I'm making enough so that I can turn it into tomorrow's dinner as well. And I'm calling it a rollover dinner because I'm prepping today for a dinner and then using my leftovers for an obvious dinner tomorrow night. So what we're doing is French onion burgers in the crock pot today, and tomorrow we will bake them and turn them into Salisbury steak. So today we've got our burgers. Now normally I would make my own and I would incorporate this, but for some reason the pickup order didn't have any actual packages of ground beef, so they sent me 3 packages of these beef patties at Walmart, which it didn't hurt my feelings any, but I usually put the French onion mix in with the burgers that I make, but this time I couldn't, so I will now use both packets of my onion soup mix in the crock pot for them to cook during the day. And I have 3 onions. I usually use 2 large size and a small one for my French onion soup and French onion burgers. And what we're doing is I'm just pre-frying them to get a little char. Get a little char on them and get them cooked a little bit. And then what we do is, this is my French onion soup mix. I've got it starting to reconstitute here. And this is what I've already got put in the crock pot. So I have cut up some of those onions already, put them in at a layer on the bottom. I cut up yet another small one, put that in the middle here, and I've already got that on low. So that's where we're starting. I'm going to finish up frying these burgers, and we'll come back when I'm adding everything together. Also, I wanted to say, after I got my onions chopped up in my last round of burgers in the fry pan here, I did not do any seasoning to these at all because I feel that the onion soup mix has plenty of salt in it and plenty of other flavors in it that it does not need seasoning, but you folks can go ahead and season to how you like yours. This is just how I've always done it, and if I've had pre-formed burgers, and when I'm making them my own, I have a packet of the onion soup mix that I usually put in with the ground beef before I make the patties and fry them, so that the burger actually has some of that onion soup flavoring and as well as the onion bits inside of the burgers. But this time around, we're not doing that. So anyway, I have taken out what was in there. I've added the next round of burgers in here, and I'm making 12 altogether, so that we can all have dinner tonight, as well as have enough for leftovers to make Salisbury steaks for tomorrow. Okie doke, I'm about ready to pour the French onion soup mix. Now, this is 2 packets in this little jar, and about a cup of hot water so that it can start to reconstitute. I do that first before I start frying my burgers. And then I just take, and I don't pour the liquid in before I start putting the stuff in. I want this, to, the flavor to get all the way through. So basically, I take and do that first, and then I have all these bits left over, but I'm going to take my jar over to the sink, put a little bit more hot water in there, shake it around, and put that on the top, and then we're going to let that cook. All right, so this is what we've got. We've got a French onion burger with our onions on the top, American and Swiss cheese going on top of that, And that's basically how she looks. Cottage cheese and potato chips for a side. So that's tonight's dinner. And then this is what we have left over. Bunch of burgers in here. And I will make a gravy with the leftover juice and onions and whatnot, and create a Salisbury steak dinner tomorrow night. So stay tuned. All right, it is now the next day. Today is Wednesday. Last night was Tuesday, right? Yes. And we had French onion burgers last night, and so this was the leftovers. We've got 6 patties and the onions from the crock pot in here. And in this little container, we've got the leftover onion soup mix that was in the crock pot. We're going to serve it up with some scalloped potatoes, and I've got a packet of brown gravy here. I'm going to mix the brown gravy with my drippings from yesterday's crock pot to create the gravy that's going to go with our to-be Salisbury steaks. I'm just going to put it in this pan here, and rather than cook it from the refrigerator, I take it out about an hour and a half or so before I know I'm going to cook dinner, and let it bring it up to like room temperature-ish so that it doesn't fall apart. We don't want it to, we want it to still have some substance to it. And it's going to be, think about it, we've already pan-fried it to get a sear on it. So it was sort of pre-cooking there. Then we cooked it in the crock pot, and now we're going to rebake it in the oven. And so that's what we're going to do next. I will prepare the scalloped potatoes in the oven and bake it alongside this here. And I'm just going to follow the box directions for that. But I'm going to add some onions for the baking of that to kind of match with the Salisbury steak onions, and top half of it with cheese because they like au gratin potatoes, but not, we're trying something new. So we're doing scalloped potatoes with a cheesy topping and mixing it with onions. So that's going to be tonight's dinner, and that's how we're rolling over last night's fixings into tonight's dinner. All right, we got our 6 patties in the pan here. I've got the gravy all mixed in. I've got them covered in onions, and now I'm just going to let them sit on the sideboard for an hour and a half or so and let them get room temperature. I'm going to cover them with foil, not all the way. I'm not going to seal it in. I'm going to leave the outside edges, kind of open, as you can see here, so it can vent out because it's got enough moisture in it. I just want to make sure that it retains a lot of what it's got and helps to cook the, warm the burger through, you know what I mean? So that's how that's going to go, and then we're going to make our scalloped potatoes when it's time to go. All right, so we have our Salisbury steak here, and we have our scalloped potatoes here. I added just a smidge more water and a smidge more milk and a smidge more butter because I added a whole onion in here, and I topped it with half of it with a slice of sharp cheddar cheese. It's going to go in the oven to bake at the 450 temperature of this here because that's what this requires. And I'm just going to keep my eye on this to make sure that this doesn't get, too hot too quick and end up scorching. But I am going to cover it with my foil here and keep most of the steam in there to keep, warming it up. And I will remove this if I need to. If this isn't done, it only takes 25 minutes on the box, so we'll see what that looks like when we'll come out. Okay, so this is what we have for dinner tonight. This is our rollover dinner. So the rollover part was this right here, where last night we made the French onion burgers in the crock pot, and I made enough so that we could do Salisbury steaks tonight. You saw me do the gravy packet and just put it in the oven, and I baked it. So basically that just turns this into Salisbury steaks for us anyhow. Scalloped potatoes with onions, and half of it's got some cheese on it. And I pulled out the leftovers from our Easter dinner. So we have some veg, the California blend here. And there's a smidge left of potatoes, so somebody can help themselves to that. And we've got some cranberry sauce to go alongside of it. And if somebody wants applesauce, they can grab an applesauce instead. So there we go. And that is how RevBTB does it.